Hey there, it gives me great pleasure to introduce yet another game to many players. For my money, it's the greatest rally game of all time. It still has not been beaten. This is WRC Rally Evolved, created by Evolution Software and released to the public in 2005. That's right, 2005. And if you're watching this in 2018, then that's quite some years ago. And you may be forgiven for wondering why it is. Why is this game so good that it has not been beaten? And why am I talking over this? Well, obviously I don't want to get a YouTube strike, so I'll carry on talking over the music. But, well, these graphics are actually not gameplay footage, but what you're about to see is something pretty special, because this game actually merges the arcade format with the simulation. So what we get instead is a perfect combination with superb graphics and gameplay and fun to be had. So without further ado, let's press that fire button, let's check this game out. And you can see on the title screen we get some groovy music and also some options. From here we can tweak the game and we can adjust chase camera motion and things like that, and there is also options for your controller. In this case I'll be using a multi-button, multi-purpose USB controller because I'm actually emulating this on the PS2 emulator on my PC. And for this, well, steering sensitivity, is it fast, medium or slow? I'll just leave it on the medium for this. And well, we're going to attempt a whole rally and see where we get with it. But I'll also show you all the stages and all the places that we can go to, and even all the cars. And yes, there are all the WRC cars, as well as a few more in this game, and Ford Focus RS WRC, and you can see even the bodywork will change on these cars, and you can even see the driver. And of course all these drivers are authentic to the 2005 WRC World Championship. So we can see all of the places we can visit, and there are lots of places scattered all over the world. And well, for this we'll start with something easy, perhaps just to warm us up and to get us into this game. And yes, let's flick around and fast forward until I finally decide where we are going. And yes, that's a great map and it's a great globe that spins around very quickly, but in this case we are in Greece. So without further ado, let's not bother modifying the car setup, let's just drive.
Go, go, go! 5 right long. 40 into 5 right. And 6 left. 5 right short into 4 left short. 300. 5 left cut. Keep left over crest. 100. 6 right. And 4 left past the building. Through water splash. 100. 5 right long. You're going the wrong way.
There are many things which make up a great rally game, and the graphics aren't one of them, and the sounds aren't one of them, but we will come to the sounds a little bit later on. And you can see the graphics in this game are fair for a PS2 game. I think that's a glitch with the emulator with the sun, but apart from that, you can see the frame rates are great, and you can see the atmosphere of the game is great. You can see there are rocks on the road, the sky is blue, and there are lots of trees and birds in the sky. Yes, many rally games, even games in general, forget to put in the animals, and in this game we have lots of animals, including, well, birds and sheep and kangaroos and all kinds of things which will get in our way. And yes, there are some butterflies on the latest rally games, but you cannot destroy animals, but you can in this game.
6 left tightens.
can also see and hear, hopefully, that our car can be destroyed, and with shattering windscreens and bodywork dents and flat tyres and all kinds of things happening in the game, yes, the impact will actually affect the car in all kinds of ways. At the end of each and every race, we'll get to enter our name on the fastest times league, and we can see that we've won our first race. Well done. Back to the menus, let's select another place to rally. This time let's choose Finland, known for its very fast straights and very fast action. And you can see that even the banner above the driver is faithfully represented in the game, so let's check this out.
Go! 6 right into 5 left long over crest. 200, watch it! 6 left. Jump 80, 4 right long tightens.
To help us out, we can see that action from a number of views. We can either change the in-car view from the bonnet to the actual behind the steering wheel view, and we can also check out from behind the car in at least 3 different modes. And so you can see that the bonnet cam in this particular case is pretty good, and I think we have a bumper cam as well. And so all those things combined must mean that we can find a view which helps us out.
4 left, 60. 3 left opens, cut. And tightens over crest. You're up on the current record. 5 right. And 6 left, 150. Twisting into 4 right tightens. Cut and 5 left.
At this point you may notice something a little bit different about the way the car is gripping the road, and yes, the car is gripping the road in this game, and there are immense levels of grip on all surfaces in this game, and even snow and ice, it seems to drive normally, and on these gravel trains like this I can simply follow the ruts all the way down the road, and we can simply glide all the way down there. And ruts in the road and actual lines in the road that we can follow is actually missing from many rally games, as are obstacles that we can actually crash into at random, and this game actually randomises some things like fences and things poking out and animals and trees falling over and things like that, and so we can see there are lots of random elements present in the game.
Caution over big jump, keep left, flat to mid. That wasn't very challenging.
Choosing another rally, let's choose yet another location to check out in this game, and of course we'll be driving the WRC cars mostly in this game guide as we check out the guide to how to play this game. And for this, let's just check out Italy, or actually Sardinia, which is part of Italy. And now let's check out the sunny inclines and the gravel traps in this very hot climate.
We ready? Go, go, go! 100, keep left, over crest, 150. 3 left, slippy, 200. 5 right.
notice a great draw distance in the game with very little pop-up, which is great for a PS2, and you can see everything is very well detailed. Some bits are pixelated up close, but at speed everything is groovy. You can see the sun is shining and there's a great draw distance, and I love the fact that the road draws all the way off, and you can see the road in the distance. That means that's where we're going. You can see a paraglider and helicopters buzzing around, and yes, the helicopter will follow us around. It won't cast any shadows, but that's the only thing. And then you can see that the road is not faithful, I don't think, to the actual roads in the rally. It certainly is fun, and that's the main thing.
And 3 right. Yeah, I reckon the radiator's damaged. 80. Road narrows. Caution, 3 left tightens.
WRC Rally Evolved has lots of particle effects in the game, and we'll even get dust and clouds and particle effects from all kinds of things, and maybe even leaves blowing around. And well, that's great to see, because we don't usually get that level of dust. Not much in the game, but you can see dust random is on that road, and that's not just because of the cars in front of us, that's just random dust being blown out by the wind.
You could have pushed yourself much harder on that stage.
After every rally is complete, we can also check out the highlights, and the game will record every single thing we did on that rally from the beginning, and we can check that out in various camera angles as well. Not that we can edit that, but it's sometimes fun to watch what we did right, and sometimes what we did wrong. Another aspect of WRC Rally Evolved is the amount of life in the cockpit. You can see fully animated characters, and you can see those from the front, and you can also change to the camera view showing us in the cockpit, and that's also very fun. You also see the people by the side of the road are animated, and we get to see more animation at the start and at the end as well. So it feels like with the animals and the people, there is life flowing from this game, and you can see animation even on the PS2 gives us that feeling that we're actually under control.
My head's still killing from last night. Are we ready? Go, 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 go! 80, 6 right. 80, 6 left short, into 5 right. Road narrows, 5 left, 100. Keep right over crest, into 5 left. 5 right. Caution rocks, 6 right.
I like the fact that dust and particles can even find their way onto the windscreen, and that's something I haven't seen since Test Drive 2. And yes, the graphics may seem extremely blocky close up, but I think the levels of detail that they packed into this game are absolutely staggering, and the destructible items when we crash into things are actually expected these days. If you crash into anything, it has to be destructible, but obviously back in the day, all of this stuff was brand new, and in this game it's expected. You can see if we jump the start, unfortunately we'll have to take a penalty, and we'll also have to change the camera angle as well. The game will memorise the last one used. You can see with this wide angle it gives us a wonderful view all the way down the valley, which will be shortly racing down.
Caution, 3 outside, into 3 left long tightens. Into 2 left. 80. Jump, don't lift, 100. 3 right long tightens. 100. 100.
We can also change our camera view even whilst we're driving, and sometimes that can make a huge difference because if it's a twisty section, sometimes you want to pull back, and if it's a tight section, sometimes you want to draw in and take control. Sometimes that doesn't always work, but it's great to see the leaf modelling present in the game, and it looks like we're driving down the lakes. Unfortunately we're not, we're driving the wrong way, and it's great that we can actually drive the wrong way. And you can see I'm taking a penalty there for some reason, but you can see that we're now underway.
Over jump 100. Through water splash into 4 left. We've lost even more time. 4 right, long tightens. Caution, ditch outside. 5 left short into 4 right, over crest. 6 right. This is ours if we keep the pace. 5 right, long.
Moving on to Spain, you can see that all the trees in all the countries have been actually represented, and sometimes you will find landscape changes from section to section, and I noticed later on that there are at least 4 or 5 different trees represented in each country, and it makes it look real. Yes, all the grass and all the trees and all the stones and everything else, which we take for granted these days, were in this game on the PS2. And instead of lots of faffy directions, you can see a paper direction at the top of the screen, and all the other information the player needs is the time and also what they're supposed to be doing, i.e. the road in front of them. So you can see I'm taking it carefully because I've never actually played this game before, but you can see always we're bound to be in front of time as long as we don't hit anything.
6 left, drop inside, flat to finish. We did it!
If we get progression in the game, then the game will reward us with some points, and we can spend these points on unlockables which are available, which you'll find as an option via the title screen. Let's check out another single rally, and you notice there is novice, professional and expert mode, and for this we'll be using novice because I find that's the easiest, and of course if you go any higher than this then the game will be much harder, and if you are a professional rally driver of course put this on the hardest setting. And so here we are in another location. This is Germany, and you can see that we're starting off in town.
Go, go! 4 right, 6 left, 300. 6 right, 6 left into 6 right long. 200. Keep right, flat over crest. 200, 6 left, long tightens. And 4 left. Keep right, flat over crest. 200. Junction, 2 right, cut, 200. Look out.
When things get fast, there's a great immense pleasure when driving at speed, because the sense of speed in this game, top speed on the best sections, is really breathtaking, as is all the cars and the pedestrians and the onlookers that you end up crashing into when you're trying to learn these stages. And you can see that you can even jump bridges in this game and survive.
Keep right, flat over crest. 6 right. And 4 left, we're slipping further back. Keep right, flat over crest. 300.
Because of the immense grip that this game has to offer, it means that we can be brave and we can take our chances, particularly on tarmac, and we can lean into those corners and expect to survive. and that might not be the case on the more professional modes, but on this easy mode it's terrific, and we can more or less point and shoot that thing. But of course, if we're going off and we're carrying too much speed into a corner, we'll lose it, and it's great that the game gives us that difference, and it's that fine edge balance between fun and playability, which is terrific.
3 right long. 100. Junction 2 right, cut. 6 right. 300.
WRC Rally Evolved also runs the line between playability, fun and simulator, and there's much in the way of simulator in this game, it has to be said. It's more of an arcade game, and as far as I'm concerned that's fine, because it means the brakes work when I press the brakes, the steering works when I use the steering, and it means that I can have fun playing the game, and I'm not crashing out all over the place.
Over bridge 40, 4 left, cut, 200. 6 right, drop outside, super. Finish. It's not over yet.
Also, because of those variables and random factors in the game, sometimes you'll be driving when it's dry, and sometimes you'll be driving when it's wet. And sometimes there are various degrees of dampness, and in this case it's pouring down, so we'll have to fight the next stage in the rain, and that means that you can't get too comfortable. But yet again, we can see that we have raindrops, which is amazing. We have windscreen wipers, but the thing that is missing on 99% of rally games, actual puddles, and those puddles actually have a huge bearing on how we drive. You can see that these are slippy conditions, and puddle mechanics are something which is barely incorporated into most games.
And 3 left, cut. Junction 2 left, cut, 60. Junction 2 right, cut, 2 right long. And 2 left long.
I love the fact that the trees have a bearing on the rain, and when we go into trees we'll get a shelter, and then when we come out again and we'll get the random raindrops. It's not like Formula 1. When you play the latest Formula 1 games, you'll notice the same raindrops falling on the screen and rolling down. No, these fall on the windscreen at complete random. And that's yet another mystery to most game makers, who actually don't make random rain, they make predictable rain, and that kind of defeats the object.
300. Caution, junction 2 left, cut to 6 left, pay attention. Are you aiming for them? 5 left into 5 right, 40. 3 right, 80. 6 left, over crest, 6 right. Keep right, over crest.
Another aspect I find appealing, as mentioned already, is the depth of detail and the draw detail of those landscapes. Sometimes you can be driving through a forest, and then sometimes you go over a crest and then there's a huge view on the horizon, and it takes the breath away with the huge view. And I know that's a cheap, simple trick to perform, but for my money, I love a view in a rally game.
3 right tightens. Finish. It's all down to these great pace notes.
But by far the greatest aspect, which makes me laugh every single time, is the great commentary coming from the co-driver. Sometimes the co-driver will scream and shout when you are going too fast, and that makes you slow down. Sometimes he will give you comments of well done when you're going great, and oh dear when you're not going too great. He will say, are you alright, when you've had an accident, and he will point you in the right direction, and he will throw sly smirky comments towards us no matter what we do.
Go! 200. 4 right. 6 left.
sometimes it's the voice of the co-driver which saves us making those mistakes, and he can say brake and slow down, and all the kinds of things that really make you drive steadily, and that's just the thing that you need from a co-driver, and it's just that kind of feedback which yet again breathes life into this game, and even when things are going wrong, it's a joy.
100. 5 left short. And 4 right. We've lost even more ground. 5 left. 5 right. 300.
Another important aspect of the co-driver is to tell us when something has broken, and if we make too many mistakes, obviously the more things will break, and so we will be given a list of the damages, and so we know if the brakes have been destroyed that we can't brake, and if the wheels have been destroyed we can't turn.
Trees outside, 80. 3 right tires. 150. Junction 2 left, cut.
It's amazing to note all the different road surfaces in the game, and you can see cobbles, and you can see paving stones, and you can see gravel and mud, and of course there is ice and snow on some levels and tarmac on others, and you can see that the paving slabs have now materialised, and there may be at least 50 different road surface texture changes across just the one stage, which is mind-blowing.
I think we could have been a bit quicker there.
In rallying, it's all about the times, and you can see the times from everybody, so you can compare your score with everybody else's, and you can see in this particular case, well, unfortunately I came second, which means I get the second step of the podium.
We have to be careful that this doesn't start slipping away from us. You ready? Go, go, go! 83 right, cut. 5 left. 44 left, slippy. Over bridge, 200. Stop messing about.
See, in the bottom right corner it gives us a reading of what's been damaged. You can see the wheels, of which we have 3 yellow ones and 1 which is alright. And you can see every time that we turn the steering wheel will flash, and every time we touch the brakes then the clock will flash, and you can see every time we skid then the skid will also flash, and you can see that the green indicates that that is on. And so as soon as we turn a hairpin, it means every one of those is on. Look at that, even a lens flare in a PS2 game. So the details of this game are rather mind-blowing and breathtaking, and the random activities, yes, those things by the side of the road could have been in the road, and yes, those things actually do happen. Explosions and rocks and things happen in the game, lightning and fire happen in the game.
Watch out for storm damage. That wasn't good.
And even random storm damage, yes, you wouldn't believe it, random storm damage can really affect your rally. And it really affected my rally, but I still managed to get green because it affected everybody else as well. And sometimes when you think you've just missed something, you might clip something, and that really does have an effect because that takes you off and makes you dive over the edge.
Keep right over the crest and 4 left. 3 right long cut. Road narrow. 4 left tightens. Post inside 80.
sometimes you have to dive over the edge when the terrain is tricky, and diving over the edge and making the other side is terrific because it is possible, and that kind of behaviour in this game is allowed, and you can take many cuts and go off-road without getting too many penalties, which is terrific because there are hardly any rules except you have to get there quickly.
You could have pushed yourself much harder on that stage. Just need to claw back a few seconds and we can take first place here.
You can see we're actually playing as Petter Solberg, and Petter Solberg is a hero of mine and always has been, and I would say that he ranks, well, definitely in the top 5, maybe even at number 1 of my favourites list. And you can say, well, is he the greatest driver of all time? Well, no, but he is the most colourful, and I really do like a colourful driver, which really does, well, perform stunts like this and yet comes back and wins the rally. And you can see we're going backwards here, and there are sparks flying, and the helicopter's obviously taking pictures of all of it. Not quite sure whether we gain a helicam, but oh no, we can see a few flakes of snow falling. That means it's going to be slippery.
60. Heavy right. 5 left short.
You can see the crowd actually perform a function because some of those use flash photography. It means we can judge distances to the edge of cliffs which we might ordinarily fall off, and so the crowd in this case also gives us a glare effect, and that means we don't always get to see where we are driving. And of course flash photography is virtually a thing of the past these days, but back in the day it was yet another hazard which rally drivers had to face, and with massive flash cameras it was a hazard which was sometimes lethal.
Something's wrong. 3 right long left, the brakes have gone. 60. 4 left long. Flat over crest, flat to finish. Well done, but there's still room for improvement.
I definitely applaud the damage modelling in the game, and of course every rally sim has a damage model and every rally game, but you can see in this one it really does depend on the time. And in the latest games you can virtually repair everything quick as a flash, but in this game you really do have to decide if you want to repair the wheels, or the cooling, or the steering, and in this case, well, we can't have all of them, we have to choose 2 out of the 3. And so usually I avoid the cooling. As long as I have the wheels and the steering, then the thing can boil for all I am concerned. So let's move on to the next stage. We're still in Turkey, and we're actually moving through the rally at the moment. We're trying to win an actual rally, moving through all these stages. And so you can see in Turkey we gain the extra effect of smoke coming out of our bonnet when we are not travelling. And that means that's another particle effect in the game, and of course if we write off the engine then we'll have smoke pouring out of that thing, and that means it's hazardous to drive.
3 right, 40. 3 left tightens. 80. 2 right long. 2 left long.
I also like the fact that there are other rally drivers, and there are often tyre marks on the road where those other rally drivers have collided into something. You can see, well, we almost collided into that tree, but we avoided it because of those tyre marks. But unfortunately we still took a roll after all that anyway. But luckily the game will reset us back on the road pretty smartly, and we don't have to wait 4 seconds for that to happen. And that's kind of a cheat mode because it happens so quickly we can get straight on with the action. But that's the only downside I can say about this entire game. There are no penalties and there are no rules. You can just drive hell for leather, and this game will let us get away with it.
60, keep pushing.
sounds from the sound of it that we have a buckled wheel, and yes, these sound effects in this game are immense. There are maybe 100 sound effects for everything that happens on the car, from the wheels to the suspension to, well, the damage modelling. In this case, we can hear when something goes wrong, and sometimes hearing when things go wrong means that we can take it easy in all the right places, and we can actually hear when the car is on its last legs. And unlike other rally games that I have seen recently, this game does have engine blow-ups and things like that. And so yes, you can blow up your engine, and in the modern rally games it does absolutely nothing visually when that happens.
100. 4 left over crest. Finish. Something's not right. Yeah, I reckon the radiator's now edged out. Now that is what rallying is about.
Sometimes when you take all the thrills and all the spills and all the diving, driving action into account, and you get away with it and still manage to win that rally, it's a tremendous feeling, and I love the tremendous feeling of achievements in this game, and the immense pleasure of driving every single rally puts a massive smile on my face. Perhaps the least favourite one of them all is Australia, and I can't help hating Australia because it's dusty and I don't seem to have the same level of grip. In fact, I have less grip in Australia than probably anywhere else.
Go! 6 left short jump. And 6 right over crest. 100. 5 left long. 80. 6 right long. Over dip and 4 right long. Into 5 left short, 80. Caution over big jump, keep middle, great section, through water splash, 3 left long, fence, 4 left long, over crest, 60. Keep left, over crest, 80. 6 right short, 5 left, 100. Keep right, 100. We could have the same record here. 4 left.
Co-driver gives us that great level of encouragement and keeps us on our toes, but sometimes that can take us off the road when we're simply trying too hard. And in rallying, if you try 110%, then that 10% will probably carry you off the road, and that means that overshoot means that you are slower than the other drivers.
200, watch out for those animals. Keep middle, caution over big jump, 150. Caution over big jump, 150. Damage the transmission. 5 left, very long.
We now have a knocking transmission, and by the knocking sound of it, that transmission means we're not going to get much out of this engine. And in the meantime, the slowness of the factor of the damage model means that we don't have to lose time by penalties. We simply lose time from the undrivability of these cars. Like other rally games, the spectators actually run out of the way in this game, and that means that we can avoid colliding with people because they will make sure that they are not in our way. And that's fantastic, because in some rally games you just end up colliding with them because they just stood there, and there's nothing worse, I find, than stupid crowds. level of detail, we really do feel like we're in Australia. We can see the signs, we can see the animals, and we can also see that it is very slippery out there. And even though this car can turn on a dime, unfortunately that mechanic means we can throw the car over to the other side of the road when all we wanted to do was turn around. And so the car mechanics are spot on, it's just they are too accurate. We avoid a kangaroo there, they are pretty accurate to this road. And if you don't like that, of course you can change the camera angle. You can see we are now last in Australia as we now avoid the last of our pedestrians as we try to make the line.
Over the rest, into 2 left, 80. Caution, free outside. Flat to finish. Not good. Not good.
I even heard the windscreen wipers squeaking then, and when was the last time you heard squeaking windscreen wipers in a game? And well, I've probably never heard that before, probably unless I'm playing this one. See product advertising, and you can see lots of things littering the track, and that's great because it means these things you never say me, and we're never quite prepared in any case, because if something has an accident in front of us, we could be colliding into the same thing.
Slow down. We've just jumped up a spot. 4 right, 40, 4 left, very long.
But even on the perfect run, only one mistake is necessary to write off the whole thing, and in rallying it's usually too much speed.
Cuts into 3 right opens. 5 left. Are you okay? Not now! Oh, 6 left. We've lost power steering. 100. 6 left short. 100. 5 left short. Finish. Well done. That was a very hard stage.
Let's move on, let's check out Cyprus, and Cyprus is a clear blue sky most of the time, but again, it could randomly rain, and there could also be random objects littered in the road even from the start, and if you've got keen eyes, maybe you can see it.
Hurry around the side.
Playing WRC Rally Evolved, things break down and things stop working, no matter if you hit something or not, and that's fair to real life, it has to be said. So you start off with a pristine car, and by the time you get to the end of the stage, it's a wreck, and one way or another you're going to hear and see the fact that that car is falling to pieces. And they were not built to last, and they certainly aren't built as strong as they are today, and back in the day it was great that these cars were fragile.
3 left. 4 right. 4 left short and 3
It's
right.
also a great feeling of adventure and seeing the landscape opening up in front of us. You can see a huge mountain ahead which we will be climbing, and you can see that if we catch up to the rally driver in front, they will leave a dust trail which will make it harder for us to see where we are going. So the closer we are, the harder it is, and you'll be surprised at the number of rally games that don't even include another competitor or a dust cloud in the road. Never mind ruts on the road and puddle modelling and horses and kangaroos and everything else.
40. 2 right long. Watch out! 100. 2 left long.
by the end of the stage or by the end of the rally, it's been a journey into the unknown, and no two races are exactly the same, of course, no two laps are exactly the same, and so we've made it to the line again in first place, PS Petter Solberg.
And that's why I drive with you. Absolutely priceless driving. Keep left, over crest, 5 right. Jump, 60, keep it up, 6 left.
So in this game we have particle modelling, cloud modelling, water modelling, puddle modelling, water raindrop modelling, as you can see, splash modelling, damage modelling, as you can see, we have leaf modelling, we have rut modelling, we have stone modelling, we have every single thing that you can imagine from real life.
Junction 2 right, 200. 3 left, long tightens, cut. Finish. Whoa! Even I'm surprised you performed that well on that stage.
WRC Rally Evolved from 2005. Yes, that's 13 at least years ago. This game has everything, this game has the lot. It has a range of sound effects, it has a range of car mechanics, it has damage modelling, it has lighting modelling, and it doesn't come up with the excuse that it's changing the lighting modelling with every iteration of the game. No, this lighting modelling is unique and it's great, and you can see in the evening we even get a nice picturesque view as the sun sets.
Caution, 4 left long, slippy, very outside, 150.
And of course, if you wanted to see back those replays, it's funny to watch those again and see the skydives in action. In this case, we took a shortcut, which ended up being, well, a long delay because we crashed out in a number of places, and it can be fun to watch that all the way back through, especially if you make lots of mistakes like me. So the replays, of course, sometimes they are worthless in modern rally games, but you can see that one, it's quite some fun, and after a long gruelling rally, sometimes it can be nice and relaxing just to sit there and watch it back again before it gets deleted forever.
3 left long opens. Keep right, over crest, into 3 right long opens. Caution, drop outside. And 5 left. 100. Keep left, over crest, into 5 left. 100. Keep left, over crest, into 4 left. 200. 6 right, good work. 6 left.
Here in Argentina, we get the altitude and we also get some monuments, but we also get yet again the surface changes, and it's great to hear and feel and see those changes in the game.
Through gate, 5 right, long tightens. Into 4 right. 6 left long, onto dirt. 100, keep right, over crest, into 3 left, cuts, 200. Caution, 4 right tightens, into 2 right. 200. Over crest, keep left, into 5 left.
And yes, like the Dakar Rally, we can get involved in some amazing stunts and some amazing stunt work. And as you can see, this game doesn't shy away from putting us into the most fun position possible and seeing if we can't drive around that corner.
You worked really hard there. 200 bump. 3 right, cut, very around side.
I think think it's because this game is so unique and so different and so favourable. Yes, you can see even the driver and the co-driver is in the game, and if I slow down the footage you can see they are animated, and sometimes you can see the driver and the co-driver hitting each other as you pass them, and it's funny to see that in action. Something else you can do in WRC Rally Evolved is take on a historic challenge, and historic challenges are, well, a minimal aspect of the game, but you can do it, and you can race a variety of cars on the semi-modern tracks that are in this WRC 2005 experience. And of course the classic Audi Quattro is the one that I'll be going for when we go back to Australia, of course, my favourite, on another high-speed run.
5 left, very long, slippy. Over crest, into 5 right, long tightens. Keep right, over crest, 100. Caution, 5 left, over crest, drop outside, flat to finish. Well, what happened there? Ready? Go! 5 left.
Perhaps my favourite rally of all on WRC Rally Evolved is the British one, or should I say the Welsh one, and you can see it starts off with pine trees and then it goes over the marshes, and then you can see some more pine trees, and the trees do change 4 or 5 times across the level. There are lots of scenery changes and lots of weather changes as well. At the moment it's raining and it's also quite windy.
Over crest and keep right, over crest, into 5 right, long tightens back. 3 left, long opens. And 3 right, long. 40.
The WRC cars back in the day did sound louder, and the further back you go the louder they are, but you can see a great exhaust bang effect when you are playing in the rear view, and of course you can hear it in all the other views, and you can see all the other aspects of this game. The graphics are perhaps the weakest point, but this is a PS2, but the sound effects on offer more than make up for that as far as I'm concerned. Even the suspension seems to bounce around the car and around the track a great deal, and there's immense speed on offer again, and the thrill ride when you get that thing on 2 wheels is immense. And because these rallies can go any number of ways, and because the game lets us off, it means that we can have a thrill ride all the way through.
5 left short, into 4 right, don't cut. And 5 left. Finish. It's all down to these great pace notes.
Just before we finish, let's just hang around in the Great Britain, and you can see that we are having to repair the damage, but it's not so bad because we can repair light damage in one go, and the damage modelling in this game really makes sure that you drive carefully, because if you don't, you can crash, and it's the crashing which really wastes the time, of course. If you can get away without crashing, then don't bother. And now we are in the Welsh valleys, we can see lots of different terrain changes, lots of different scenery changes, lots of weather going on, and even forks of lightning, which is yet again something unheard of in a rally game.
Right over crest, 100. 3 right very long. Drop outside. And 5 left short, 200.
Random forks of lightning can even set fire to the scenery, and if we aren't careful we can collide with something or even set on fire ourselves.
Right short, over crest, don't cut, keep right, over crest, and 3 left, watch it, that gates are closed, 4 right long, caution, drop outside. 3 left, over crest. 100. Looks like there's a fire up here. Blocks, 5 left, 100. Keep middle, road narrows, 5 right, and 3 left, are you okay? Over crest and 3 right, slow down. 3 left. Unlucky lads. Keep middle, over crest. 40, 3 right, very long.
I've seen fires spread in the game and set other things on fire, and I've seen fields on fire in this game, and that actually is pretty reminiscent of fields on fire pretty recently in the rally calendar. I think 2014 we had some fields on fire and cars crashing out and setting each other on fire, and I think 2015 as well, and I think 2014 we had somebody going off into the water and having to swim for it. But all kinds of things happen in rally, and that's why it's the world's toughest motorsport.
Average stage, average performance. Five right. 300.
Before we end this play summary and review of this game, let's just check out Monte Carlo. And again, even though we're driving on tarmac, we can find some pretty slippery patches here and there, snowy patches, rainy patches, and then back to dry tarmac again. So it's wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry, much like real life and much unlike you get in many rally games. And so we can see that this game has a lot on offer, it has a lot of surprises, and it has lots of things which make you happy.
And 3 left, be careful. 4 right, 60. 5 right, 6 left long. 200. 6 right. Caution, into 3 left, slippy, 200, be careful. 4 right. 4 right, cut, into 5 left, long opens. 6 left. 6 right.
You can even hear the co-driver saying, where was I? Let's just find this again. And of course, in the heat of rallying, you might lose 2 or 3 corners because the co-driver has lost his place in the notes, and that's fine because that's what happens in real life.
Flat to finish. Chicane. Into 3 left. Keep right, into 3 left. 4 right, 100.
To begin my conclusion of this game, I think that this holds the record of the number of votes for people voting for the greatest rally game, and up until I'd say pretty recently, this was the one that most people said was the greatest of all time, and Dirt 4 and, well, maybe WRC 2017 or 07, whatever it feels like calling that, well, I think those have just about pipped it. But then again, there are so many things in this game which are missing from every other rally game, which makes things fun. And you can see guys, well, dancing in the corner, even though they were out of the rally.
4 right, long tightens. 4 left, 100. Keep right, over crest. Keep it up. 3 right. And 3 right. 100. 5 left, over it. 200.
I think the easy mode is easy enough for just about anybody to get into, and that's unlike most rally games where the easy mode is pretty hard. And in this game you have the grip and you have the control and the confidence to narrowly miss things, which gives you a great buzz, and that means that you expect yourself to be a better driver than you actually are.
Superb run, you pushed it to the limit. 100.
In conclusion, I'd probably give this game at least a 9.5 out of 10, and if this game had more potholes in the road, because there isn't that many potholes being modelled as the cars drive over the road, then I would give this a 10 out of 10, because it's all about the road surfaces and there aren't as many ruts in there as really needed to be.
The brakes have gone. It just wasn't meant to be.
When you complete a whole championship, it will give us a great congratulations screen and also even more tokens to spend in the shop, and then it will give us a great, well, prize giving as we are now on the top of the podium. Peter Solberg, as you can see, came second. We were just a few points short of the lead, and second place in this case is a bit tight, but that just means we'll have to play it again. It will even give us some outtakes that we can watch whilst we're looking at the credits, and watching those outtakes that the playtester recorded whilst they were recording the playtesting of this game is very fun, and even some things didn't even make it into the final version.
3 left. Careful up ahead. Over brake, 80. Blocks, 5 left, 100. Slow down. Pay attention. Now a bigger gap is opening up. Junction, 2 left, 3 right, 80. We're on for a great time. Watch it, that gate's half closed. Keep middle, over crest. I knew something was wrong. Over bridge, 300, pay attention. 200. Be careful. We were just ahead of them. Careful. Slow down. Into 5 right. 200. Be careful. Slow down. Whoa! 6 left. Hurry around. 200. Keep middle. Over big jump.
Thank you for watching another one of my reviews, and yes, I still think this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, most fun, most exciting, most unique and most random rally game ever. And I still think that this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest rally game of all time. Thank you.
Ignore that and go for it. 6 right. 5 left. Caution. 4 right. 4 left. Into 4 right. Look out. 80. 3 left. It's like they want to be hit. 5 left, great section. Over crest. Whoa! 4 left, we're on for a great time. 100.